had cancer like 4 fucking times, and the insurance paid her $10,000 while she wasn't working, and how her mom's had cancer and was supposed to die in 1986, and how she's still kicking. And I was like, that's really great, and I'm so happy that you've survived, that you still have your mother. And she was like, well, have you thought about any preventative, treatments, like getting a mastectomy? And it's like, ma'am, I just got my organs fucking checked. Like, this isn't your business to tell me to fucking get a fucking mastectomy preemptively for the sake of, like, selling me insurance. And I was like, I had my examination like a month ago. My organs are fucking doing good. And also, like, I don't know people who fucking survive cancer. That's not a thing that's occurred in my life. So I'm kind of just gonna have to accept that, like, the chances of me having a fucking death sentence are high. I don't know. I just felt like the way she kind of went on, and I do appreciate that I had, like, a human connection with her, where she told me about herself and her family. But it is not lost on me that after all of that, she still looked at me like I was fucking crazy for not saying, you know what, never mind, sign me up for that fucking insurance. Take even more of my fucking paychecks every week. Sorry, I was very compassionate with her as a human in that moment. But now that I'm not having to look at her in the fucking face, and I can just reflect on the sales tactic for what it was, I do not like it. I'm fucking... I barely have tits anyway, and they're fine. Why would she ask me that? It's not her business. In my last video, I spoke about how I was feeling very remorseful for the feelings that I have had towards my boyfriend and my mom, and the ways that I've spoken about them. And I've taken down multiple videos because I reflected on them, and I was just like, I didn't like the way that I spoke about them. And I thought about how if I ever discovered a video where somebody was talking about me the way I was talking about them, it would fucking crush my spirit, I spoke about how I was coming from such a place of hurt that I was unable to see the humanity in people. And I stand by what I said, I do feel those ways. But then I also kind of feel like I spoke too fucking soon. Because I was feeling remorseful and compassionate and empathetic, and I was trying to be very sweet and kind and loving to my boyfriend. And then on Saturday, he just kind of shit all over me for no reason, because he's mad about a bad time we had kayaking fucking 3 years ago. He said that he was thinking about taking me with him down to a friend's property in South Texas this coming weekend. I still don't know if he's gonna go, but he said that if he takes me with him, that I'm no longer allowed to get my feelings hurt when he goes kayaking with other people. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I still really want to go kayaking with you. We haven't been in forever. And he was like, no, you burned me, and I'm not going to go kayaking with you again. And I don't know what the fuck he means by burned him. Like, I didn't sell him a fucking fake bag of Coke. I didn't sell him a fucking pinched bag of nugs. But I was just like, but that's been years, dude. What's your plan here? You're just never gonna ever go kayaking with me again for the rest of our lives? You're just gonna, like, never ever try to do anything with me ever again? And it seems to be that, yes, that is his plan. And I was just like, I don't understand. Like, maybe if you communicated with me what you need me to do and what you want from me in that moment, like, I will do it. I don't, like, what do you want me to do? I'll do it. But it hurt my feelings really badly, and so I had to remove myself from the situation. Because I was just like, it's been 3 years, dude. And he was like, well, I don't know when it was. It's been years. And that's, you know, something I talked about in a video that I took down because I didn't like the way I spoke about him as a whole, is that, like, we have not forgiven each other for anything. So, like, there's no moving forward. And the thing is, like, when we do things together and go places together, I feel more alone than I do when I am alone. Because he's so distant and disconnected from me, as if he doesn't want to be associated with me. But he also, like, wants someone to, like, laugh at his jokes and, like, listen to his ideas and stories and, like, look good. But, like, not be a person. And so when he was telling me, like, yeah, I'm never going to do anything with you ever again, I was upset, and I was just like, you know what, this hurts me really bad right now, so I'm going to leave this situation before I try to make you hurt too, because I don't want to do that. And then I went up on the upstairs balcony and got on a Twitter live stream and just started sobbing. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, what do you do? And I came downstairs after I'd taken a nap, and he was like, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. And I said, I appreciate that. And, you know, I hugged him, and I was like, please don't give up on me. But I know he has. You know, when you do things, you do activities, and you do them multiple times, they're not always going to be great, and sometimes you're going to have a bad time. That doesn't mean you just don't do the activity ever again. Right? I forgot to wear a bandana today. I have one in my backpack, but it doesn't really match my outfit. I'll be back later. I took a break from work to run to Walgreens. And I was standing in line behind this woman who, she didn't look very old, but she looked incredibly frail. And she had a broken arm, and she had a whole shopping cart. There was nothing in it. She was using it to, like, balance as she walked, to, like, prop herself up. And as she walks up to the register, I noticed that she's not wearing a mask. And she's just got this, like, crumpled up napkin that she's, like, kind of sort of holding over her mouth. But it's mostly just, like, crumpled up in a ball, and she's holding it like this. And I was shocked. Because of all people, like, she's probably pretty vulnerable, you know? But so I'm, like, just staring, and I guess one of the other registers opens up, and the girl who works there, I see her all the time, she's very sweet, I love this girl. She's waving at me and quietly, and I can't hear her, and I'm not paying attention. And because she can't get my attention, a customer at a different register decided to shout at me to get my attention. She very rudely went, hello! It's like, fuck you, dude. And I don't know, I'm not having a good fucking day. Hello! Goodbye. You know when you're driving around and you see one single shoe in the street? Where the fuck did that shoe come from? No, that's not an original question from me. That's a Gabby Hanna poem that I just recited. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm serious. I'm seriously joking. That's actually a real question from me. It might be a poem from one of Gabby Hanna's books. I just find it funny to make fun of her poetry, particularly right now, because 6 months after she got her last review, she has decided to, like, throw a shit fit over the past week, and it's hilarious. I watched a video from this guy, Sid, the other day, and he, like, went undercover in Gabby Hanna's Patreon and basically discovered that she's got this weird little echo chamber of, like, people just, like, hyping up every bonkers bananas thing that she does. And that's probably what is enabling her malicious behavior. Oh yeah, right, I was talking about how I had a bad day. It's never a good day when we have to have a meeting in the fucking conference room. I hate getting stuck in there. Time passes, like, exponentially slower in that fucking room. There was this one meeting a while back where they don't schedule these meetings. They don't plan them in advance. So suddenly you just get ripped away from your desk. And I had, like, just gone on my break and gone to the store and gotten lunch. And I'd gotten back to my desk and I hadn't eaten that day. And I was like, yes, my snacks. And someone was like, hey, let's go to the conference room. And you don't know how long you're going to be in there. You could be in there for, like, 2 hours. And so, like, I'm fucking starving and I'm sitting in this meeting, and once we get through the list of points that just need to be addressed real quick, there's this one girl in my department who always just wants to keep talking like it's a fucking social hour. And so you're just like, oh my god, we need to get the fuck out of here. And my stomach was growling because I was hungry, and it was loud. And eventually someone said something to me about it. It's the girl who likes to stay in the meeting. She was like, is that your stomach? And I was like, yes, I'm hungry. Let me out of here so I can return to the food at my desk. But yeah, today we had a meeting about how they sold the office building out from under us, and they didn't want any of us to know. They weren't going to tell us, which is funny because they couldn't really get away with not telling at least me, because I specifically pay the utility bills. And because we didn't own the building anymore, we were not going to be paying those utility bills. So I was not supposed to be processing them anymore. So they had to tell me. But they also were like, yeah, we don't really want anybody to know, so don't tell anybody. But then, like, I went over to my mom's house for me and my stepdad's birthday last month, and my stepdad was like, oh, hey, so y'all sold the building. Y'all are moving to such and such place. And I was like, yeah, they really didn't want to tell us that. How did you know? And then a guy came in today to, like, repair my manager's printer, and she wasn't there, so I was talking to him because I use her printer as my default now, because I ran mine into the ground so many times. It had to have so many rollers and drums replaced over and over and over that, like, even the company that we leased the machines from was like, we want to take this away from you. And I think right now they don't have, like, a better machine that fits my needs. I'm not really sure. The equipment service company said that I should just use my manager's printer because it can handle the higher volume better than mine can. So hers is, and when she told me that, she was like, stop fighting with yours, just use mine now. And I was like, oh, okay, like, so I'm just gonna destroy yours now. And she was like, well, and I did destroy hers. And it's been jamming, and since I use her printer also to print checks, like checks to pay bills with, it's kind of important that it doesn't jam and that it works, you know what I mean? Because last week some of my checks were fucked up, whatever. That's irrelevant. But yeah, so he comes to fix her printer, and the first thing he says to me is like, I heard on the radio that y'all are moving to, because the city announced it because we were part of its, like, city development grant program or something. And he was like, is it going to be over there by the county park? And I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't live in... I don't go to... And I'm not planning to follow the company to Like, I signed up to work in Austin. I already drive over 50 miles a day to my office as it is. I'm not putting an extra 25 miles on that. I have no interest in fucking working in. I think it's really great for a lot of people that I work with, because they're like, I don't even have to get on the highway to go to the new office. It's so fucking close to me. And I'm like, oh. And they were all just kind of like, man, yeah, I could never like go work somewhere where it took me an hour to get there, an hour to get home. I couldn't do it. I mean, I guess I could if, like, I couldn't find a job anywhere else. And to be honest with you, yeah, that was kind of my problem. My plan a couple of years ago was to leave. And I had like 3 interviews. 2 of those jobs I really, really wanted. The other one was for a company that, like, seems to really, like, want to force its employees to do, like, group activities on the weekends. And I was like, no. I don't know if you can tell from looking at me, but I'm not a fucking team building kind of girl. When I first started making videos, I would just film certain parts of my life and my days over, like, the course of a week or a few days, and then just kind of, like, string it together. And as of late, like, really, I think I'm gonna just start doing that again, because I don't really know, like, I haven't really felt inspired to, like, do anything else, you know? I made that fucking Houston vlog, and then the file got fucked up, and I worked so hard on it only to get defeated, and I don't want to fuck with it anymore, you know? It's just like, I fucking did that and I finished it. It should be over by now, and it's not. I don't know what I'm going to do. Since winter is over and then we have daylight savings time, maybe I can do some more videos outside in my yard. I don't know. I'm driving through this neighborhood right now. It's a neighborhood that I cut through to get from my FM road to the toll roads. And it's like a very small residential neighborhood, and the speed limit, because they know it is like a cut-through road, is 45. And there's people who have signs up that say, like, drive like your kids live here. And I drive like I live there because I'm respectful of residential neighborhoods. But people blast through there, and almost every single day someone fucking blasts past me in the oncoming lane to get around me in a residential neighborhood. It's only like a mile, whatever. But I drive under the speed limit because I think 45 is way too high of a speed limit on a street where there's fucking houses, you know? So I max out at 40. But I guess it's been a problem because they've started having a couple of sheriffs posted up there in the mornings now. Like, they have one when you first enter the neighborhood, they have one posted up at the top of the hill, and at the exit of the neighborhood. And then they have another sheriff's officer at the exit of the neighborhood. So I guess, like, you know, one of them clocks you and the other one will stop you if the first one can't get to you fast. They, you know how they set it up, right? And yesterday morning, because I'm a fucking polite driver, sometimes I yell at people. But they don't know that. Mostly I'm a polite driver. But, so yeah, I saw him parked at the top of the hill that morning, and I waved because he was looking at me. He waved back, and then as I passed him, he turned around and watched me and clocked me. I mean, I wasn't speeding, so when I got to the other end of the neighborhood, I waved at that sheriff too. Speaking of law enforcement drivers being nice to me this week, today when I was heading back towards my office, I was pulling into the parking lot, and a law enforcement vehicle was pulling out of the same driveway, and I very carefully, like, pulled in because it was kind of a tight space, and they waved at me, I didn't even have to wave at them first. I don't know. I think you should wave at people. When we first got these new neighbors across the street from my house, I hated them. I hated them because I was pissed. They bought the cow pasture, and then they dropped a fucking ugly barn dominium on it. And they run their fucking golf carts up and down the goddamn street all fucking day, tearing up the road. It's a dirt road. You can ruin it real easily if you just, whatever. I mean, I still don't like them, but I was just like, I don't want them to think for a fucking second that they are welcome here. So I refused to wave at them. But then after a while, I realized, like, I can still wave at them in an unfriendly way. You know what I mean? So I wave at everyone in my neighborhood because that, when you acknowledge them, they feel seen. And I want those motherfuckers to know I'm fucking watching them. And also, like, I hope they never find out that, like, I permanently, like, injured and disfigured my left foot while trespassing on their property and knocking over their porta potty. They'll never know. They'll never know. Because that porta potty got knocked over a couple other times by the wind. Anyway, so I'm just out here waving at motherfuckers. I don't know why I said earlier that I was going to, like, return to my old vlog style. I think it's because the last video I posted was, like, on multiple different days and times and places, and it felt reminiscent of the way I started out doing these videos. But I guess it's really not different at all. I think I just felt weird editing it because I was wearing different outfits. I don't know. Anyway, I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important, so I want you to forgive yourself for the time that you have wasted watching this video. And have a good day. Oh, the cows are looking real good today.